Fun fact is no online company or no company has ever grown to $100 million in its valuation or revenue by just doing ads. We're evolving into a role that's growth. And in growth, what you not do is blindly run ads and make running ads your sole job, because running an ad is not difficult. I think anyone who has a Facebook account or an Instagram account, that running an ad is just 3 clicks away. So it's not a skill, it is not a complex problem that you're solving. Where is the problem? The problem is not in the execution. I look at marketing as a 4-step process. First is research. Second is you've got to figure out your stance, as in your approach to the problem. Third is you've got to ready a brief. Research, stancing, and brief. This is documentation work. This is strategy work. And then you give it to the executioners, people who iterate things on ground. If you're somewhere in the top 3, if you're involved in the top 3 parts, research, figuring out the angle you're going to attack the problem at, and third is brief. If you can communicate clearly, you're fine. But if you're out here who's just following orders, I've made a video about it, if you're in the bottom layer and not in the top layer, you're going to be worried about yourself. Second thing, talking about how this field is going to shape in future, there are a lot of folks and small businesses can think of growing via just ads. But when you look at bigger companies, when you talk about PayPal, when you talk about Dropbox, when you talk about Uber, for God's sake, when you talk about Google Pay, so many companies, do you think you installed Uber or Netflix maybe, Uber or Slack or Dropbox? Why an ad? Because you saw an ad. That doesn't happen. There is a new phenomenon, or a phenomenon that's only native to bigger companies where they hire growth people like crazy and they call them growth engineers. The future of digital marketing is growth engineers. So that's going to be a role. What these guys do is they build frameworks within the product that allows one person to pass on the word to the other person. What happens in a quick example in Dropbox case is Dropbox would incentivize you with another extra 10 GB of space if you shared with a friend. And that was the reason Dropbox grew. Fun fact is no online company or no company has ever grown to $100 million in its valuation or revenue by just doing ads. So you got to think beyond that. Think like growth engineer. Google that stuff up.
Dude, and to interject, I think influencer marketing is going to be huge.
Crazy.
I think more than anything, the audience trusts people rather than they trust an ad. Like if you see an ad for like eggs, you'll be like, scam hai. But if an influencer who you trust says, hey, buy these eggs, you'll be like, wow, eggs, I like it.
And even if you're not an influencer, if that's a role that you cannot afford to get into, you can't amass an audience, I would say that you can. Even if you choose not to, then apply the same framework, the research angle and the brief when it comes to content, because content production is basically marketing these days. So if you can do content strategy well and then make something, please, all yours. The role is all yours.
Yeah, I think it's a very content-oriented approach to marketing that people should take.
Making
and ads are great for seeding. Yeah. Ads are great for seeding. Like get your first like 30K.
Content gets shared organically. Content is not an ad. So think through that.
So yeah, I think what Abhinav's saying is switch from being just an executor of ads to thinking digital marketing strategy. How do I involve the influencers? How to make friends there? How do I build content? What's my content empire look like? What's my message going to look like? What does the audience want to see?
There's a mental model that I can throw across, and it's helped me with my decision making. It can help you with your career. If any knowledge or information is very easily available, let's say it gets shared on Instagram, just thrown around, it's probably not worth it. The good knowledge, you got to dig deep into it.